You know that feeling, right? You've got this huge goal, this incredible dream, and you feel that rush of excitement, and then crickets. Nothing happens. Well, that gap, that really frustrating space between dreaming big and actually doing something, that's what we're going to tackle today. We're going to look at the science of why our brains fight back, and then, more importantly, give you a real practical toolkit to finally get moving. So, does this sound a little too familiar? You wake up, you're totally fired up. You're thinking, okay, today is the day. But then evening rolls around and you realize you've done, well, none of the important stuff. Instead, you've kind of lost hours just scrolling, telling yourself it's fine, tomorrow's a fresh start. The only problem, that magical tomorrow just never seems to show up. But here's the most important thing I want you to hear, and I mean this. This isn't some kind of character flaw. You're not lazy. Seriously. Procrastination is just a habit, and it's rooted in the way your brain is wired to avoid things that are uncomfortable. And you know what the best news is? Once you get how the wiring works, you can absolutely, 100% rewire it for action. All right, so before we jump into all the fixes, we've got to understand what we're up against. Let's dig into the science here, the why behind your brain's default setting, which is basically, I'll do it later. It really just boils down to this one simple idea, the pleasure principle. Our brains, you see, evolved to do two things really well: seek out immediate rewards and run away from anything that feels like pain or a lot of effort. It's an ancient survival instinct that, let's be honest, kinda sabotages our biggest, most important goals in this modern world. And this right here, this is the battle going on inside our heads every single day. On one side, you've got the easy stuff, the instant rewards, scrolling, watching TV, all the things our brain just naturally craves. And on the other side, you've got the hard stuff, the meaningful work, where the payoff is way down the road. It's not a lack of ambition that pulls us toward the easy stuff, it's just our brain's ancient, hardwired instinct for comfort right now. Okay, enough about the why. Let's get to the how. We're going to talk about 3 of the most common things that trigger procrastination and the practical, actionable fixes you can literally start using the second this is over. So, the first trigger is that the goal just feels huge, right? Imagine standing at the bottom of a massive mountain. Just the sheer scale of the climb can be so intimidating that you don't even take that first step. Well, your brain reacts the exact same way to big goals like start a business or write a book. It just freezes, it shuts down. So the trick is to shrink the goal until it's almost ridiculously small. I mean, so small you'd feel silly not doing it. So instead of write a book, your new mission is just to write 1 sentence. Instead of get in shape, it's just do 1 push-up. This simple little move completely bypasses your brain's resistance, and what you'll find is that once you start, momentum usually takes care of the rest. James Clear, the author of Atomic Habits, he has a famous name for this, the 2-minute rule. The whole idea is that any new habit you want to start should take less than 2 minutes to do. And the reason this is so incredibly powerful is that it targets the hardest part of any new journey, just getting off the starting line. Okay, the second big trap we all fall into is waiting to feel motivated. We have this idea that successful people have some secret endless supply of willpower. That's a total myth. Motivation is just a feeling, and feelings come and go. It's like a battery that drains super, super fast. If you only do the work when you feel like it, you're never, ever going to build any real consistency. So what's the alternative to riding that motivation roller coaster? You build a system. Instead of waiting to feel like it, you create routines and habits that make taking action almost automatic. So schedule your important work and reduce friction. Lay out your gym clothes the night before. Use triggers like the second you finish brushing your teeth, you do 10 squats. It's the systems, not the motivation, that make things happen. And here's a fantastic little mental trick from Mel Robbins called the 5-second rule. The second you have an impulse to act on a goal, you literally count down from 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then you physically move, go. So why does this work? That countdown, it acts like a pattern interrupt. It literally hijacks the part of your brain that would normally start making excuses and talk you out of it. It is such a simple, powerful way to shift from thinking to doing. And the third major hurdle, well, it's that our world is basically a giant instant gratification machine. Social media, Netflix, video games. They're all brilliantly engineered to give your brain a quick, easy hit of that feel-good chemical, dopamine. And what that does is it trains your brain to expect easy wins all the time, which makes real hard work feel, well, kind of boring and unappealing. So how do you fight back? Simple. You flip the script by re-engineering your environment. You make the bad habits harder, delete the distracting apps from your phone, turn off all those notifications,
Maybe even put your phone in a totally different room. And at the same time, you make the good habits easier. Set up your workspace so it's clean and ready to go. The whole goal is to make the right choice the path of least resistance.
Okay, so you've taken that first tiny step. That is huge. But the real challenge, as we all know, is keeping that momentum going, right? So now let's talk about building the kinds of systems that make your new habits actually stick around for the long haul. One of the most powerful things you can do is to reward yourself. When you finish a task, and I mean even a tiny one, and you celebrate it, your brain releases dopamine. This creates a really positive feedback loop. Your brain starts to connect the hard work with a reward, which actually makes you want to do it again. It's all about making the process itself feel good. And there's a brilliant way to visualize this progress that comes from, of all people, the comedian Jerry Seinfeld. It's this beautifully simple strategy, and it's called the Don't Break the Chain method. So here's how it works. You get a big wall calendar, and for every single day you do your task, you draw a big red X over that day. After just a few days, you're going to have a chain, and your only job from that point on is, you guessed it, don't break the chain. Just seeing that chain get longer and longer becomes this incredibly powerful motivator all on its own. Here's another crucial point, and honestly, this might be the most underrated of them all. Your environment is a massive predictor of your success. The people you hang out with, the stuff you watch and read, it all shapes who you are. If you're surrounded by people who are apathetic, guess what? That's contagious. But if you're surrounded by ambition and action, well, that's contagious too. So how do you actually upgrade your environment? You gotta be intentional about it. Go join communities, either online or in real life, that are all about your goals. Curate your social media feed, unfollow all the negativity, and start following people who genuinely inspire you. Find an accountability partner, just one person you check in with every week. When taking action is just the normal thing to do for your friend group, it becomes your normal too. Okay, let's bring this all home. Those big dreams you have, they're not going to wait around forever. Every single day of delay is another day you stay exactly where you are. But the good news is, you now have the tools not just to wish for things, but to actually move from procrastination to real, tangible progress. And I really want you to let this next thought sink in. You do not need to have it all figured out. You don't need the perfect plan, you don't need perfect conditions. You just need to start. Because consistent, small efforts, that's what compounds over time into massive, life-changing results. So I'm going to leave you with this one question. What's your version of one push-up? What is the single, tiny, 2-minute action you can take right now to build that very first link in the chain toward your biggest dream? The time for someday is over. Your time is now.